everyone, and welcome back to Growth Ninja Investing. I'm your host, Matt, and in today's episode, I want to go over the tools that I currently use to buy my stock positions, as well as what I use to track the performance of my portfolio over time. So there are two main ones that I'll go over today. The first one is what I showed in the last episode, my brokerage of choice, which is Stake. I'll show you what the main features of this one, why I like it, and then we'll go over into the other tool that I use, which I do pay for, but I think it's worth the payment, and I use that for actually tracking the performance over time of my portfolio. Without any further ado, before we get into things, I'm not a financial advisor, so don't take any of this as financial advice. This is just what I am doing with my money, and I basically do videos to show that with you. So if you are thinking of buying any stock or anything of that nature, make sure to do your due diligence and contact the financial advisor if needed before making that purchase. All right, so the first one we'll go over is Stake. So this is the brokerage I use. I think this is available in Australia, New Zealand, and the UK, I believe. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong and if it's available in other areas as well. Primarily, this is headquartered in Australia though, and I do use this as my primary brokerage. The reason I like this is it's very user friendly, and it has all the features that I would want in a brokerage. So it has charting features, so you can track the visually how your portfolio is performing over a day, a month, a 3 month, year to date, year, and maximum time frame. You can do this for Australian stocks and for US stocks. So you get two separate charts if you invest in both. I have dabbled in Australian stocks in the past, but I primarily get most of my growth, and I know a lot more of the companies that are in the US stock market. So that's primarily where I invest, and I work in the tech field, and a lot of the tech companies are listed on the US exchanges. So most of my buys are there. It does an automatic conversion from US dollars, which you can see here, to the Australian equivalent. If you like that without having to do that manually. Stake also has access to pre-market and aftermarket trading if you want to do that. Generally, I take advantage of the pre-market because the markets in Australia don't open, at least where I live, until about 11:30 p.m. at night. If it's daylight savings, it can be 12:30 in the morning. So I like to put any of my weekly buy orders in as part of the pre-market because I can do that anywhere from 6 p.m. to open. So it's a lot more manageable for me in that aspect. You can see down here like upcoming events. So it'll tell you when the stock market is closed for specific holidays, and it'll tell you the times in which the pre-market's open, the regular market is open, and the after hours are open. And you can also see the same for the ASX. So you can see it's currently open. It's open for another basically 3 hours, and it gives you the same. So when the markets are going to be closed, and then all the time frames of open, closing auction, post close, and when it's actually closed over the weekend. As well as this, you have watch lists. So if you want to watch any specific companies that you're thinking about buying, you can add them to a watch list. You can have multiple watch lists, and you can have different watch lists based on the Australian market or the Wall Street market. And then you have your holdings tab. So this is where all your holdings, current market value, returns, all that will be listed. and you can actually click on the company to see a more detailed information about the company itself. So you can see the chart relating to the company specific performance. If there is a major move within the stock for a day, it'll give you a short blurb of why the stock is moving that much. If it gives you general stats around the company, market cap, P ratios, that sort of stuff, day range, 52-week ranges, any news that may be applicable to that stock. If you have stake black, which is you can pay a bit of extra money to have it. You can see analyst ratings, so average price targets, the max, the average, and the minimum. You can see the earnings over time, EPS over time, balance sheet information, income information, cash flow information. And you can see some trade history around the stock. It won't show all the trades, but it'll show you most recent trades, and it'll give you a bit of information about the company too. And then down at the bottom, it'll give you related companies that are related to, in this case, AMD. And then you can go up here, you can see how many shares you have, you can see your average buy price, and then you can do that for any stock that you own. So that's good. They also have this accumulate feature. So this is more of just put your money in here and it'll aim to earn this 6.1%. So it's basically a high interest savings account. But I did experiment with this in the past, but I've taken this all out and shoved it into my offset account that's getting offset against my home loan because that's tax-free interest off my loan that I get by leaving it in my offset account rather than having it in here, which so I have to pay tax on any earnings that I get from the accumulate here. But if you do want to have your money in here, dry powder in here, earning interest while you're waiting for a downturn or something, you can use this. And then discover. So this will give you most up, most down, popular positions on stake, and it'll give you a snapshot of what the major indices are doing. Same with Wall Street. It's basically the same. And it'll give you Wall Street ratings and targets if you are paying for stake black, as well as other news articles that you may be interested in. So this is the brokerage I use. I like it. UI is great. It's easy to follow. Next thing I use to actually track the performance over time with deeper metrics, though, is Snowball analytics. I'm starting to get into this a lot more because I'm starting to buy more dividend paying stocks, and I just like how you can view the dividend calendars and dividend payments within this app. So it'll give you a quick glance of your portfolio positions by size within this pie graph. And you can also see the positions by allocation and size in the table here. So you can see how leveraged you are potentially to certain positions. So I can see now that the top 4 positions are roughly 75% of the portfolio. So if these 4 positions don't do well, my portfolio will go down substantially. So I'm just trying to add more into these bottom positions, specifically SCHD at the moment, to offset that. It'll give you total profit over time. This includes dividends and any profit that you've taken over time. So realized profit and loss, as well as unrealized capital gains, any taxes that you may be hitting with, and dividends. So the taxes I'm getting hit with is 15% tax because I'm getting paid dividends of US companies, but I have to pay 15% tax on those every time I get a dividend. You'll get your IIR, which is basically the annual growth rate of your portfolio. This is everything that you've had in your portfolio, and then it'll give you a percentage also of what you currently hold and not closed positions. And then it'll give you passive income. So currently my portfolio is only yielding 0.47% because most of my investments are in companies that don't pay a dividend currently. Even though I'm getting 0.47%, I'm still getting $576.60 annually from this portfolio. And every time you add to your dividends positions, this will update automatically. It'll give you your top day gainers, top day losers, and it'll give you recent and upcoming events. So this will be earnings, dividend payments, etc. This is one thing I like. It will tell you future payments for your dividends. So you can see here, I'm expecting a cheesecake dividend in May. That will be around $45, and you'll be able to see payments from other companies and how they're expected to come in over the next 12 months. Next to it will be the dividends that have actually been received in the past months and the current month. So trailing 12 months. And you can change this too. So it can be all time or year to date or whatever you want. I might leave mine as all time actually. So all time while having this portfolio, I've earned $472 in dividends. This chart here will give you dividend growth, and it'll allow you to compare from prior years too. So you can see 2024 in orange, 2025 in blue, 2026 in purple, and you can see it's growing nicely, and you'll be able to continue doing this over time. So you can see how your portfolio is growing over time. And then you can have a goal in here around what you want your portfolio to reach, and it'll give you an estimate of, based on how much you're putting into your portfolio weekly or monthly, how long it will take you to get there. And that also accounts for what you put in as your expected rate of return as well. And then similar to Stake, it'll give you some news articles relating to companies that you own, and it'll actually tell you if it's mostly negative, positive, or mostly positive. You can go into the analytics tab here, diversification. So this will give you more charts. So it'll give you breakdown of like asset classes, dividends here. So it'll give you yield to payout, passive income diversification. So it tells you how much dividends are coming from certain positions. It'll tell you whether the dividends are reliable, safe, not safe. It'll give you average annual growth of the dividend if your stock actually grows their dividend. Once again, there'll be a chart for future payments. There'll be a chart for dividends that have been received. And then there's also a chart here from total dividends received from a certain position over time, so you can track that. And then dividend growth as well, as per the dashboard slide. Growth, you can actually compare the growth of your portfolio here against certain indexes if you want. I've got mine against the S&P. So you can see I'm currently underperforming the S&P by 3.1% year to date. And then you can also do dynamics of portfolio returns. So it'll tell you how much your portfolio has returned in each year. So this will account for dividends, any realized profits, capital gains, and taxes. So you can see 2023, I only just started, so it was basically flat. 2024, I was 43% return overall, 28% overall last year, and so far this year, up barely, but still up 2.8%. And then you can see your performance by a specific holding as well in the portfolio. They also allow you to publicly view other people's portfolios if they set their portfolio to public. So that's a cool, nifty feature. If you want a more in-depth review of Snowball itself, I can do a extra video on that. So make sure to like this video if you want to see that, and comment down below if you want to see anything else specific on this channel, because I'm more than happy to do it. As well as this, I will leave some links in the description below for both Stake and uh, Snowball Analytics if you want to sign up for it. That is the end of this video. Hope you liked it, and without further ado, I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.